Well, we welcome you to Blues Game Day Live. This is a real special holiday-looking edition
This
alongside
is quite
Kelly
a theme.
Chase. Yeah, Darren Pang here at the St. Paul Hotel in downtown St. Paul. It's a wonderful old hotel, isn't it?
It's a great hotel, great food.
Yes.
Wild rice soup,
Oh,
spectacular.
chicken
best
wild
in the
rice soup, the best in the league.
Best in the league.
No
Best in the league.
question about that. So the Blues zip in and out here, obviously flying here following last night's extremely disappointing contest.
Yeah.
Is that the good thing about the NHL is when you can get back on the horse and not think too much about it? A 5 o'clock local start here tonight?
You're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as sometimes when things are going bad that the people might say you are. So it's the old, in my philosophy is the measuring sticks here are the tests 3-4 times a week are great for you. And I think, it gives the Blues a real look at where they are. I mean, if we're being realistic, we knew that Tampa was going to be a top team in the league. We just fell a little short. We knew that Nashville was. That we fell a little short. And the LA Kings are measuring stick or one-on-one with them. So we're at the top of that grouping, but we still got a little bit of work to do, and that's a good lesson.
I like what Mike Yeo said after the game. I like the way he speaks following a loss, and not much sugarcoating about it. But the one thing that he said was, I don't think that LA was ever nervous in that game.
I agree with that.
And you and I are at the bench level, and we could see that as well.
Yeah, I don't think that there was a time where they didn't feel like they were going to push themselves through it. That comes with a little bit of the experience that they have with some of the guys that have been on there for some of their cups, and it also comes with the fact that there's a healthy competition in LA for spots with that group too. Mm-hmm. And I think that team does a really good job now that they've won. I've always said, you can't go anywhere unless it's always easier if you've been there before, and unless you know where you come from, and they certainly know where they come from now. They've come from Stanley Cup champions. The pedigree is there with the older guys, and the younger guys are starting to follow suit because there's expectations.
Yeah. Well, Chaser, there's a healthy competition though with the Blues right now, and that's why I was looking for something last night, something that I didn't see last night. I was looking for a little bit more of that five-man cohesion, a little bit of that Pac-Man mentality in on the forecheck, but instead what I saw was bunch of forwards a long way away from where the defense were, and trying stretch passes and things that we're not accustomed to actually seeing.
Yeah, I think what happens is you try to make things happen sometimes on your own instead of realizing, we've all been through that, instead of realizing that, as a group we're much stronger than we are individually.
Exactly.
And you see some of the guys that are your better players that are trying to maybe handle it a little longer, or take off through a hole and spring the game open when really the play is to just stay in that unit. But it's hard as athletes to convince ourselves sometimes like that, and especially to do it in shorter spurts and make it happen, one goal at a time. You can't score 3 to get yourself back in the game all at once. So I think that's a little bit of what's going on. But again, the pieces are there. We've seen how well the Blues can play when they play as a unit. So I mean, they go back, as you said, you get a chance right away again, and here we go.
Last time we were here was, I believe it was April, maybe 22nd, Magnus Payarvi.
Magnus Payarvi in overtime.
And he hasn't been in the lineup. Maybe we see some of that old.
There might be. There could be a little of that as well. You're right.
Jake Allen gets the nod and goal.
Yeah.
He's been really good since last March. Here in Minnesota, he's 4-0. So he gets the third period last night. Now he gets to go here. But listen. Let's get back to the nitty gritty of things. The last 2 games. And I know when I gave up goals early in a game, I remember the great Tony Esposito pulled me aside one time, and all he said was, you should just break it down into 5-minute increments. That's it. Play the first 5 minutes on the clock, and that's a game. And then play the next 5 minutes and see where you're at after that.
Right.
And it seems like in the last 2 games, I mean, the Blues are giving up goals in the first 5 minutes, in the first 3 minutes. You're down 1-0, 2-0 right off the hop. It's a tough one, especially when you're on home ice and you're trying to climb right back in it, but you've dug yourself a hole. So you come on the road now, and they've been good on the road.
Well, it makes it easier for teams when they're on the road and you give up the first goal, because now they can play a little bit of the posturing style and hope they can spring another little leak in.
Quiet everybody down.
Right. And I mean, we certainly saw that with Anaheim. Nashville's a team that just stands back once they get the lead. So the Blues have never really played with the lead with them. And then, of course, LA, they keep pushing and pushing, and they get that first goal, and they're like, okay, they didn't do much in the first period at all. And St. Louis had 20 shots on goal, but they did enough to make themselves up 2-0 and realize that, hey, we've had the experience of doing this before, so that's what pushed teams out. I think the Blues have got to get off to a better start, as you said, but also they've got to make sure if the 5-game increment or 5-minute increments are what their measuring stick is that that they've got to win all of them and not just 5 of 6, because I think that's what's happened, and that's exactly what you're talking about. They're never out of a game, but it's how you put it all together and make it a 60-minute one that's important.
Yeah, I would say, and I would say too, the Blues getting those shots on goal against LA, but maybe not those secondary chances. There's a lot of rebounds that were sniffing around there. So I'm sure that the coaching staff's got a game plan in store. I'm liking the 4:30 pregame show. I know on Fox Sports Midwest and on KMOX, same thing. And then puck drop right around 5:07 or 5:08, and we're going to bring it to the people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The boys will get back on track tonight.
You got that right. Looking forward to it as well. And then after the game, off to Montreal. Bonjour. Huh? For Kelly Chase, I'm Darren Pang. You'd better darn well enjoy this hockey game at 5 o'clock. See you there.